Come on, Alan.
Harry, fancy a lift for the races?
Well, I don't look like I got a choice, is it?
How are you?
Let's go, Alan.
See you, well.
We've got to get on, we've got to get on.
Busy morning riding out?
Yeah, flat out. To be honest, like when it's Warwick, not too far away, I can get a bit more done.
Let's take it back to the start for a second, I suppose.
Can't even remember when I started, but one good fact, here you go, something that you don't know about Harry Skelton. Harry Skelton learned to ride on the same pony that my dad learned to ride on.
Good gosh.
And my brother. Don't get me wrong, when I got him, he was basically death on legs anyway.
I mean, was your dad coaching you? Was he strong on you? What was he like when you were a kid and you were learning?
Dad always liked the horses, and he went to Ted Edgar's when he was very young, and Ted Edgar was a very hard man. You had to work, you know, and I think that was ingrained in us. That's how Dad learned, and that's how we've learned. He was tough on us and still is, but he never ever once really gave me a lesson. We always learned by watching.
Yeah.
And I would, on my pony, I would follow him round at home in the arena. I would literally just follow him on his horses. Yeah, I was very lucky, got to watch a lot of very good show jumping riders. Having your dad as sort of Nick Skelton, obviously, to people outside looking in, and you know his record to do what he's done, and it was no different to us. He was just Dad.
But he's not afraid to give you an opinion on a ride these days, is he?
No, he's not. He'd be my biggest critic, really.
Yeah.
He'll let you know when you're done wrong, but that's never a bad thing.
So is there ever times you're like, Dad, this is racing, not show jumping, you can't do that? Or do the same principles apply, or does he reapply the principles to racing?
Yeah, more so the jumping part, not really the race riding. From a jumping aspect, there's not many people that jump more fences than him.
Yeah.
Dad actually always wanted to be a jockey. Success just took him show jumping.
Yeah.
He went to a show one day when he was in his teens, and I think he won like all 4 classes that he went in when he was riding for Ted Edgar, and that was it, never looked back.
Yeah, it's crazy how things have turned out differently. He might have been a champion jump jockey, maybe.
Maybe.
And then bringing Dan into it then, was he always going to become a trainer? Was that happening at the same time?
No, Dan went, he was actually at university. He's definitely the brains now. A lot more academic than I ever was. I hated school. Didn't want to be there, no interest. I was 16, I went off to Richard Hannon's, and Dan actually got a job through John Hales down with Paul Nicholls. He went down for work experience. Anyway, at the time the pupil assistant left, and Paul rang up my dad and said, "I just think Dan would take a job with us. Does he want to stay on?" And so Dan got a phone call from Paul saying, "I want you to see you at my house tonight." And anyway, so Dan was on the phone to Dad. "Oh, Paul wants to see me. I wonder what's wrong. So no, he got offered a job as pupil assistant. Then I think a few months later the assistant left, and then that was it. Was there for 10 seasons or something. And then I actually went from Richard Hannon's then. I went over to Paul's. I think I did 8 full seasons there. Things faded out for me at Paul's and moved on, and I was lost for 18 months. I was, running around the country, driving around, trying to get rides. But then I must say, like, as soon as some trainers found out that Dan was going to start training, they just changed like that.
What do you mean?
They just knew Dan was going to start training.
Oh, as in they wouldn't use you so much because of that link with you?
It was literally
Really?
like that. Yeah, it's a fickle game.
Yeah.
Sport's ugly, it's tough.
You talk about that time. I think your worst season you were at 8 winners.
Yeah, 8 winners, yeah. And then luckily Dan started training the year after.
3 years later you're at 101.
3 years, yeah. We were always going to do it together. That was one thing that Dad said when he set up. And it doesn't matter what leg up you get in life.
Yeah.
Like, you can still fuck it up.
Yeah, especially in sport, because it is ultimately it comes down to being a meritocracy, isn't it? It's how good you are.
Absolutely.
Always strikes me about you two, you and Dan, is I know brothers and siblings are generally close, but you seem to have each other's back above everything.
Yeah, that's it. Like Dad always said, you do it together, and that's the way we've always done it. I have 100%, full confidence in him and what he's doing. He has my back when I'm riding, and now, to be honest, like we're in a position where, like, I'm a more, senior Jockey and the owners, and they have full belief in us, and that's a great feeling, you know.
Yeah.
The most pressure me and Dan are under is the pressure that we put amongst ourselves.
Yeah.
For sure. You know, I want to deliver. I want to get it right for the owners and for Dan, and they're winning, I'm winning. So that's what it's about. I know all the other horses really that I'm always riding against, because I'm always watching them. I always compete against them. I don't really care what everyone else is doing. I know my horse. I know. You know. I know what I want to do.
Yeah. Did you feel pressure leading into the turners with the new lion last year at Cheltenham?
I honestly thought he'd take some beating.
Yeah.
You knew if he got a good clear round, then he was going to take some beating, and thankfully everything went right and he won.
And he turned up at Cheltenham with that black eye. Was there any ever chance you weren't going to be past fit to ride?
When I look back on it now, it's what was I doing in there? I was changing some foals water over, because they hadn't had the water drinkers fixed in yet, and it just as it went by me, it booted me straight in the side of the head.
Yeah.
Luckily it was the right side, not the wrong side.
Yeah. But you can't legislate for that happening. I mean, like, how many times have you been kicked in your life?
I know. I never thought that would happen.
Yeah.
But look, thankfully I was all right. But
yeah, it was impressive, the black eye, I thought.
Yeah.
You know, you've spoken a couple of times there about getting older and, you know, being more senior in the weighing room. And I think with that, you've become a better winner and a better loser as well, perhaps?
I love winning. Always winning was what was just, Dad went to shows and he'd come home at the weekend and we'd say, how'd you get on? And it would be simple. He either said he won or no good.
Yeah.
He never would say, really good, finished second, but I was a bit unlucky, or that's just not how it was. It was either you won or no good. You take your beatings now, and I don't get time to sulk as much.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, just
one of the positives of being so busy.
I just don't get time to sulk anymore. You know, I don't. Sometimes on the drive home, I'm thinking that one got away.
Yeah.
You know, that would drive me mad. But now I'm getting older. You know, now with the kids and stuff, you ain't got time to be sulking.
Well, I saw both sides of the coin at Windsor and the Winter Millions. Protectorat won the Fleur-de-Lis, the big race, and you absolutely lapped up the celebrations afterwards, and I actually removed the rail so you could take Protectorat into the area that the horses weren't supposed to go, because that's where more of the crowd were.
Yeah.
I definitely think that heightened the day for the racegoers.
Like, that's a great winners enclosure there at Windsor, and some racecourses have that, you know, like that, almost like amphitheatre type. Okay, there's not like the people there is at Cheltenham, and like there's nothing like walking back into Cheltenham. Like, those memories that you have every time you walk in down there, especially at the festival, you just never forget them. And like, obviously Protectorat now, look, he's a veteran coming, you know, he's 11 years old. He broke £1 million the other day. There was a big crowd there at Windsor. I just think they're the moments that actually, when I'm old and past it, you'll actually will remember.
Yeah.
But you'll never forget that.
Yeah.
Racing's given me an awful lot.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So I just think now, probably just getting a bit older, you should give a bit back.
So if we quickly touch on then, big part of your life now, obviously. First of all, Bridget, and you're riding against Bridget, married Bridget, and had the Rory and now little Anna as well. How has that changed your perspective on it all? Has that helped to broaden your view on all these matters we've just been talking about?
What they now bring is worry. Not that I'm worried for them.
That's just another thing to think about, isn't it?
It's just another thing to think about, isn't it? You just, when I get home and a few have got beaten, and you know, one should have won, and especially now, probably like Rory's a bit older, like, and we can play together, or he can talk to me, and he doesn't care. He does not care what's happened.
Yeah.
He just wants to tell you about the tractors that he's been driving, or what he's been doing around the yard, or what he's been doing for the day, and it helps you just sort of move on from everything a bit, doesn't it? And like, you know, Bridget, you know, just unbelievably, you know, solid with them, and just, you know, just fantastic mother, just taken to it like a duck to water. And you know, little Anna now, she certainly hasn't been as easy and as smooth as Rory was to start with, and we've had a few bumps in the road, but she's generally doing well, and it's not easy.
Yeah.
You know, it is the most toughest thing I think you could ever do.
Yeah.
But it's definitely the most rewarding thing in life, I think.
Yeah, well, I always note with me and you, we obviously cross paths at the races quite a lot, but when we actually have 2 minutes to see how the other one is, sort of thing, I would always be like, I'd ask you, how's Rory? And Lola, my little girl's 2 months older than Rory, and we'd just have the conversation back and forth, and it would always be the difficulties of it, but it would always end with, guys, magic though, and
they are the most important thing to you. Does that, you know, when I get out on that race course this afternoon, what changes from that? Nothing. Like, but the moment I walk out of that weighing room, I know, like today, I'm finished at 2:30, whatever it is. I'll be home at 3 o'clock, and I'll tell you now, I wish I had a few more rides to stay around, but I'll get back straight away and help bridge with the kids and be there for them. And you know, just what they bring to the table is you can't find that anywhere else. You can't find that on a race course. But does that make me want to win less or be less competitive? Absolutely not. Just drives me forward to support them.
thanks for taking 23 minutes out of your busy day.
That's not a problem.
And you were running about when we arrived at the yard because you had to get all these horses ridden and before you got to Warwick. But thanks for stopping and chatting anyway.
No worries.
Cheers, man. Cheers.
Thanks. Could have chatted for 3 hours.
I should have taken it to Weatherby, shouldn't I?
Yeah.